Are you ready to be in the room where it happens? Next spring, your shot at an unforgettable New York City experience is here. Imagine 4 incredible nights in the heart of Times Square, exploring iconic landmarks from Greenwich Village to Wall Street. Picture yourself gazing up at Lady Liberty and reflecting at the powerful 9/11 memorial. But that's not all. This isn't just any trip. It's your chance to witness the revolutionary energy of 2 Broadway shows, including the one you've been waiting for, Hamilton. We're taking care of everything. Round-trip flights from Dallas or your closest airport, comfortable hotel transfers, 5 delicious meals, and easy transportation throughout the city are all included. Don't throw away your shot. Visit TravelBugGirls.com to book your Broadway dream trip today. That's TravelBugGirls.com. Be a part of history. Experience New York City and the magic of Hamilton. Welcome to the Travel Bug Girls podcast, the show where we dive into the world of travel, exploring everything from expert tips and insider secrets to unforgettable destinations and the latest trends. Whether you're a seasoned globetrotter or planning your very first adventure, we've got you covered with the advice and inspiration you need to make your travels truly unforgettable. So sit back, relax, and let's take your travel planning to the next level. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Travel Bug Girls podcast. So we have another study abroad podcast interview, and this time I'm interviewing my daughter, Maggie. So, hello, Maggie. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Mom.
As we start, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Just kind of where you go to school, your major, that kind of stuff.
Okay, so I am an upcoming junior at the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa. I am a criminal justice major, and I have a psychology minor with a pre-law concentration.
Okay. What do you like to do in your spare time?
I go dancing a lot in Tuscaloosa. I'm part of a swing dancing club. I just like fun little things like that.
That's super fun. Very fun. I love that. So just to start out, tell us like what country you went to and if you visited any other countries for your study abroad and like why you chose that specific program.
Okay, so for my program, it was based in Vienna, Austria, mostly because we were doing studying and a lot of lectures at the United Nations in Austria. We were going to the United Nations Office for Drugs and Crime, which is based in Austria. So we stayed there most of the time, but we did have weekends free. So me and a small group of people wanted to explore some other countries. The first weekend, we went to Slovakia and we visited Bratislava, which was super fun. And then the second weekend, we went to Prague. And that was also really exciting. So I did get to visit 3 countries in total.
So was that study abroad like specifically tailored to your courses in school? Pretty much, like, did everybody that went kind of have the same major or whatever, or was it?
Yes, the program that I chose is specifically for criminal justice majors and minors. So everybody was either a major or minor that went. It was really nice because we got to choose out of 2, 3 credit hour courses. I took both, and they were just very immersive and hands-on because all of our coursework pretty much was done at the United Nations. And I think it was really beneficial for all of us, but definitely anybody with anything other than criminal justice would not have benefited the way that we did.
That's really cool that it was like specifically tailored to y'all, and like getting to study at the UN is pretty amazing. So
yeah, it was cool. Super cool.
So thinking back before you left, what were your biggest expectations or your biggest anxieties about studying abroad? And then did the reality match your initial feelings before you went?
So I'm gonna be honest, the couple weeks leading up to like my flight, I was absolutely terrified, and I wasn't even sure if I really wanted to go anymore because I realized that I was going to be going out of the country for the first time completely by myself. And I was just like, wow, I am a I am a 20-year-old girl going out of the country. I've only flown once before. This is going to involve different airports. It's going to involve layovers. It's going to involve different languages, all kinds of stuff. So I was really just terrified.
As your mom, I too was terrified about the same
Everybody was
things.
terrified. Everybody, all my friends, all my family, all my friends were like, wait, you're doing what? You're flying by yourself? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, you're not going with your program? And I'm like, the way that our program was set up, we didn't all fly together because it was during the summer and everybody's from all over the country, like all over the United States. So we all just kind of met on a suggested day, which I ended up flying in a day earlier than most people because it was like $300 cheaper to get a flight on a Thursday instead of a Friday. And then I just stayed in a hostel and then met everybody at the hotel the next day. Highly recommend doing that, by the way. Yeah, going through everything by myself was definitely the scariest part. But really, once I started doing it, I think it was just so much anxiety leading up to it. Once I started actually getting in the airport, once I started getting through TSA, and I was like, oh, that wasn't that bad. I'm like on my terminal, I was like, that wasn't that bad, and I just started to relax and kind of enjoy like being in a different environment. My first layover was in Canada, which was pretty scary. Most people are speaking French, and if you've ever been to Toronto's airport, you know that it is absolutely ginormous and really, really fancy. So I was scared, but I really just started relaxing and enjoying everything around me, enjoying like different kinds of people being around me. I talked to people in the airports. I realized that it was kind of only as scary as I made it to be in my head. I really just worked myself up over nothing. Like I was okay, and it was fun. It was really fun.
Yeah, we've talked about that a lot in our past podcasts. Like when you come up against stuff that's kind of scary, you just kind of do it, and then you're like, oh, that wasn't that bad. And so then when you come to something else that's scary, you're like, okay, I did this before and I was fine, so I know I can do it again. It kind of like builds your confidence.
Yeah, exactly.
So can you share an example of like a cultural difference or a moment of culture shock that really stood out to you and how you navigated that?
Okay, so this is probably going to be really funny to a lot of people, but I didn't know that they don't have Dr. Pepper in Europe, and I love Dr. Pepper. So one of the first restaurants we went to, I was like, I really just want some Dr. Pepper. So I ordered a Dr. Pepper, and the lady just kind of like raised an eyebrow at me, like, no, you don't have Dr. Pepper. No. And so one of my friends looks at me and goes, Maggie, you don't do Dr. Pepper here. So that was just like, I feel like that was one of the beginning moments of culture shock because all the big things I was prepared for. I had done my TikTok research as a good college student. I was prepared for like paying for water and the bathroom. I was in Austria, so I was prepared for people to be rude to me, like not wave and smile when you walk by. I was prepared for all of that, the public transport, everything. But it was just the little things like not having Dr. Pepper and even seeing like children out on the metro by themselves, just out on public transport. It's terrifying. It scared us so bad. We're like, oh my gosh, where's that child's parents? And then we're like,
that's just what they do.
That's just what they do. Like, it's just normal for them.
Oh my goodness.
It's some things like that. Those were probably two of the biggest small moments of culture shock I had, I guess.
I can relate to that. When I went to New England for a week the first time, I didn't realize until we got there that they didn't have sweet tea. And so the first time we went out to eat and I ordered a sweet tea and they were like, I can bring you some tea with some and some sugar packets, and I was like, this is so weird.
Oh, yeah, one of my friends did that. Tried to order a sweet tea while we were in Austria, and I was like, buddy.
I don't think sweet tea exists anywhere except the South in the United States.
Yeah,
Like
pretty much.
nobody else has sweet tea.
I don't think so either.
It is funny how those little things really do like affect you though. Like that was the first thing I did when we got back, like when we flew back, was like ordered a sweet tea, and I was so happy with like I bet you were so happy when you got that first Dr. Pepper.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I got a giant bottle of Dr. Pepper in the Chicago airport. It's like this is the best day of my life. I got a Dr. Pepper and some little like pretzel dogs from Auntie Anne's.
Yes.
Fake cheese.
Yes.
Never experienced anything like that. I was like, I am proud to be an American.
Yes. Yes, that's hilarious. So beyond like your classroom experiences, what was your favorite non-academic experience or adventure that you had?
Honestly, my favorite thing was just walking around. It was really just exploring because in Vienna, particularly, everywhere you go and everywhere you turn, it's beautiful. It's beautiful architecture. There's beautiful people. Like there's flowers. It's so clean. It was just something that I had not experienced before. So me and my friends would spend hours just getting lost downtown, walking around in circles, and we'd stumble upon incredible gardens. And once we stumbled upon like a hidden castle we didn't know about, we stumbled upon the Parliament building, which is like otherworldly. We stumbled upon a festival, like all kinds of things. That was really the best thing about being there. I know obviously not all countries and cities are like that, but Vienna particularly, it's such a clean and safe city that we were able to just go out and do that. Just walked around for hours and sat and admired the pretty gold statues that were everywhere.
I was gonna ask if you felt like pretty safe there, you know,
Yeah, even that first day that I was there by myself, um, I got there at like 8:30 in the morning and I couldn't check in into my hostel until 2 p.m. So I had to figure out stuff to do all day. I put my luggage in a storage locker at the hostel and I just walked around. I was sitting in there for a little bit and then I was like, you know what? Let's face my fear. I just started walking around the city and going into shops and meeting people and learning German and all kinds of stuff. And I have never felt that safe, honestly, like in America. I've never felt that safe just walking around and talking to new people like that.
what about your favorite like academic experience? Like what was your favorite experience as part of your classes?
For our classes were very interesting. We had, like I said earlier, we had those two classes. They were each 3 credit hours. One of them was more academic and UN like focused, and the other one was more career focused. So in the career focused one, we had assignments like create or refine your LinkedIn profile, do a daily reflection. They wanted a reflection of every day of the week of what we learned and what we did and how we felt about being in a new country and stuff like that. So we had that, and then we had a really big assignment in the other part, which was to take a court case that had to do with transnational crime and use this thing called Sherlock, which is a United Nations database of court cases. And it's huge, like absolutely ginormous, but they will take submissions from pretty much anybody as long as you know how to put it in the right format. They have a template that you can find on the website. And if you put everything in the template and it's like all accurate, then they will upload it to the database. It's used for the UNTAC, which is the United Nations organization against transnational crime, which is very interesting. If you have time, go just like read up on that because it's super cool, but I don't have time to talk about it. So one of our assignments was to present a case for this Sherlock database. And first of all, we had to like research and find a case that wasn't already in it. And then we had to make sure that it actually was about the things that it needed to be about in order to fit in the database. And then we had to like structure everything and fit everything in the template. It was a really long template. We had to really dive deep and find all the like we had to find all the court files and everything online, like wherever we could, to put everything together and put the story together so that it could be put into the database properly. That was really my favorite thing. But besides that, I really enjoyed getting to hear all the speakers we heard speak at the UN because we had mostly just lectures. Like we had some assignments that we would really just do in the hotel, but the lectures were a really interesting part because we got to hear from so many people from so many different backgrounds, like so many different languages. Obviously, they all spoke in English for us, but different accents, different languages, different histories, different communities, and different sectors of where they worked at the UN. And it was just, that was really awesome to see how many different parts of the UN there are and how inclusive it is, how much they really can like bring everybody together.
So you had like speakers from the UN like lecture for y'all, like just for your
Yes.
group or whatever while you were there?
Yes.
That's cool.
We ended up, the United Nations does this thing called Sherlock Summer School, which is where a group of students come together and they all do those things to the cases to go in the Sherlock database. But my group from Alabama got there a week early, so we got to hear more speakers and do some more things. We also got to visit the Austrian police and hear people there, which was really interesting. Where else did we visit? The UNFRA, the UN Fundamental Human Rights Agency. We got to go there and hear from some people. So it genuinely was information full. I know that's not a word, but it was information full. Like my information was flowing out of my ears because of how much I.
So did your study abroad experience influence your academic path or your career aspirations after you came back home? Did it affect anything as far as that goes?
I wouldn't say it affected where I want to go, but I would say it broadened my horizon. I know at least because one of our assignments was to refine our LinkedIn, we all ended up like connecting with people on LinkedIn from Austria and from the UN and all of that, which was really cool. And it just made me dig into a little bit more about what they do. And some of the things I heard were very interesting. I've always wanted to go into like criminal law, but lately I've been thinking more about things having to do with like domestic violence and things like that and human rights. And we got to hear from a lot of people talking about human trafficking and migrant smuggling, which is a violation of human rights and things like that. That was really cool to look at and kind of get to balance and think about how that all plays into what I want to do. Because I personally don't want to do anything transnational. I want to stay in America, but I really enjoyed listening to how everything comes together and how what I do here can affect what they do over there, and what the United Nations is doing affects what I'll be doing.
So looking back, what was the most significant challenge you faced during your program, and what did you learn about yourself in overcoming it?
Okay, so it's not really a academic problem or like specific to being in Austria, but it was definitely the biggest problem that our entire group faced when we were there. There were 20 girls there and there were 4 guys. So we had an insane amount of just like petty drama.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only exacerbated because we were all in a different country and we were all together all the time. I really had to learn how to take time for myself and kind of control myself and just step back and enjoy the moment and enjoy the view, because I think that a lot of times a group of us would be like, let's go out, let's go explore, let's go do this. And then we would get out and we would get exploring. And then everybody would end up arguing about where to go. So at the beginning of the trip, that really frustrated me. And I was like I was comfortable going to the city by myself, but I still didn't want to. I wanted somebody else to be there with. So I ended up just whenever that happened, I ended up just hanging back a few feet, walking away, turning around, and then just taking in everything that was around me. I think that is one of the most impactful things that came from the trip was learning how to take in everything around me because everything was so beautiful and overall I can do that.
I think that's a great point. It's easy to get caught up in that little stuff, and then you miss the whole like, hey, I'm wasting my time in this beautiful country with these things that I've never seen before, and I'm arguing over something dumb instead of just like soaking in what's around. I think that is a universal thing that can apply to travel no matter where you are. Is like
Oh
it's
yeah.
so easy to get wrapped up in those little silly things that
The little details, where you're gonna eat for dinner, like
yeah,
what this person wants to do. This person wants to see this, and this person wants to see this, but they ended up standing and talking about it for an hour when we could have done both. Things like
right.
that.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great point. So, what was your favorite place that you went to, like when you went to other places, like when you went out from Austria?
My favorite was definitely Prague. I got to see the astronomical clock, which I've been wanting to see for a while. My little nerd brain loved it. It was
Yeah,
so cool. And Prague was another place that everywhere you turned, it was just really cool and beautiful. Just in a different way. Prague was more, if we're talking in terms of like aesthetics, Prague is more dark academia, like towers, dark. All the statues are like black and kind of gloomy but stunning. Vienna is definitely more like light, flowery, and I guess happy in kind of a way.
which is exactly what you would expect from when you think
Yeah,
about those two
exactly.
cities. Like
Exactly. Like,
meets the stereotype.
I was not surprised at all. We got to Prague and I was like, yeah, exactly what I thought it would be like. But yeah, it was absolutely beautiful.
What advice would you give to a current college student who is considering studying abroad but might be hesitant?
Literally just do it. If I had not had people in my ear telling me to just do it, I would not have, and I would have been regretting it probably forever. I was absolutely terrified, as we talked about. But really just finally sitting down, doing it, and just going. Don't think.
Yeah,
Just
go
do.
for it. Take advantage
Yeah.
of it while you can.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what would you think about having like visitors come at the end of your trip? Um, like if you had people from the States come over, would you be for that or against it?
I think honestly, actually, some of the people in my program had like their families come more towards the end and visit. And some of them were a little bit stressed about it. Some of them did not enjoy it, but mostly because we had homework and
Mm,
we had like lectures and things to go to. I think if I personally had stayed after my program was finished and had friends or family come visit, I think it would have been fantastic. I would have loved to be able to like show them around and tell them everything I learned about and just like share that new part of myself with people I love.
where would be the first place that you would take them?
Probably a restaurant.
Did you have a favorite like restaurant?
I cannot remember the name of it for the life of me, and I've been trying to remember, but I just can't. They had some traditional Viennese food, and I got these. It's like it was pork and vegetables all rolled up in this big tortilla thing. It was like a giant egg roll, but breaded and fried, and it had this like red pepper sauce that went over it
Mm,
and everything. It was delicious, delicious. 10 out of 10.
sounds good.
Also, Wiener Schnitzel, 10 out of 10.
Okay,
Absolutely.
good to know. I love that you went for a food thing because that's 100% what I would do too. I'm all with
Yes.
the food.
And the coffee. Oh, I would take
Yes.
a Viennese coffee.
If you could sum up your entire study abroad experience in like one word or one short phrase, what would it be?
Enlightening.
That's a good one. And I wanted to go back to like as far as like giving advice to current college students. If you're considering going, like, go. And you were able to like get scholarships and stuff to go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The University of Alabama has an entire dedicated section for study abroad scholarship. I'm sure most universities do that, and if they don't, you can find them online literally everywhere. And there's all kinds of different organizations that want to send you abroad. They want you to go study abroad. Just do your research. Don't be afraid. Like, one of my scholarships, they're giving me money to write 3 blog posts about my trip. Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. And it's something that I would have done for free, honestly. But just do your research, look around, don't be afraid, put yourself
Okay.
out there a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So we're pretty much at the end of our time, but on our Travel Bug Girls podcast, we always end with the question of where our minds are today, like as far as traveling, like where our minds are traveling. And so where is your mind traveling today?
I'm down by the beach and I've been itching to go.
You are definitely my daughter.
Yeah.
I would say for me, Prague, because I was really intrigued when you went there. It's not somewhere that you really think of as like a touristy destination,
Mhm.
but the pictures were beautiful, and I just think that area is kind of like a hidden gem,
Yeah.
because it's not like the number one on the list when you think of places to visit. But the more I've researched it, I had like a client that was wanting to do a river cruise and kind of through that area too. And it's just stunning. So much, there's just so many beautiful places to visit in that area. So I think that's where I'm traveling today. So, well, thank you so much for joining us and sharing about your experience. I really hope that these podcast episodes will help encourage other students that are kind of weighing whether they want to go study abroad or not. I hope it'll encourage them to dive in and go for it. So,
Yeah, me too. Me too.
is there anything else you want to share before we close out?
You are a college student listening to this. If you are on the fence about studying abroad, go. Just do it. I don't care what you are. Go.
Perfect. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, and I hope you all have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Travel Bug Girls podcast. Be sure to subscribe to get our new episodes every week. We'd love to connect with you on social media. Share your answer to this week's podcast question with us at facebook.com/travelbuggirls. You can find us on your favorite social media by using @travelbuggirls. Want to join our VIP group? You'll find us on Facebook groups under TBG Travel Bugs. Learn more about the Travel Bug Girls and what we do on our website at travelbuggirls.com. Until next time, keep exploring, keep dreaming, and safe travels. If you love to travel, you know the best experiences happen when you can truly connect with the people, the culture, and the language. That's where Speak Language Center comes in. With live expert instructors, not AI, Speak helps you go beyond the basics, offering cultural insights, real-world conversation practice, and even travel-infused learning experiences. You can join a scheduled group class, or Speak can create a custom course just for you and your travel pals, tailored to your trip, time zone, and availability. Check out their courses at speaklanguageacademy.com and start speaking your next destination.